What's going on, everybody? It's already, I think, 1:30 my time. I take some time to rest ahead. But I wanted to put something out there just because I was talking about it this weekend, and it was regarding the bank failure. It's funny because all of a sudden they go like, well, JP Morgan won, and they took over the bank. It's funny how the news is. It's funny how the news, the media, his job is to cover things up and make things okay. But nobody in the fucking media understands banking, doesn't understand this world. They're just a bunch of mouthpieces. So I'm telling you right now, you hear the real deal on what's going on. Well, first I want to show you the the headline up on Drudges. See the little piece there? Mayday, another bank collapse, second biggest in history. Well, here's the thing people not understanding. I'll walk you through it. First Republic Bank wasn't even like a real bank. Okay? First Republic Bank was like a bank for the upper crust of society. It was all that, or the easiest way to say it's like the well-to-do rich people bank. Okay, it was more or less like private banking type stuff, and the whole setup of it was weird because such a small bank. Obviously, the kind of clientele they had a lot of money, and they invested in a lot of shit. A lot of shit they probably shouldn't have invested it, but nonetheless, if our banking system is on the edge over small banks, which are, dollar wise they're not small, but they're small banks like SVB, Signature, First Republic, and they keep, the solution is like, FDIC is like, we're finding a buyer. Our banking system is sound. I'm like, it's not really sound. It's basically, you tell me, at the end of the day, the government has to give money to the big banks to come in and save these little banks because these little banks have toxic paper that belongs to the big banks. And then the media spins it like it's, the banking system is safe. Morgan is taking it over. But they're not telling you that nobody really knows the extent of the bad paper that First Republic had. SBB, same thing, Silicon Valley Bank. All the bad paper they had, it was all based on the tech stock. That's what they used to lend money on. Like, that was Silicon Valley's like go-to bank. Now, the reason they're saving these banks, you need to understand something. Get this in your head because they're saving them. They're not going to save you. Silicon Valley Bank had a lot of high net worth individuals and companies had accounts with that bank. Like, you had like upper level executives of Silicon Valley in money in that bank. I mean, even Airbnb had accounts in that bank. So saving them was saving those people and those companies. Then you look at First Republic. First Republic, you don't find a First Republic branch in like Ohio. You only find them in fucking nice areas of New York City, and like probably in other states as well, like like Chicago and stuff like that. But there was basically that level of bank. But you ever ask yourself what happens when it hits a bank that, let's say, has, I don't know, 30, 40 locations servicing the community? Like, do you know, like, there's not enough big banks and money in order to save these small banks? And are they really saving them, or are we consolidating this to the point where we have, like, I don't know, 3, 4 banks, maybe 2 banks? The reason this stuff doesn't sit well with me is because it's right in our fucking face. See, like in 2008, when everything happened with Geithner, Paulson, they met with Obama, Bush, and stuff, and the bailouts like that, people didn't really know about it. This is in your face now. And they keep thinking like people see this and it's okay. Like it doesn't mean that everything's fine, everything's safe. But I'm gonna put it to you in a I guess the most easiest way to understand. We're technically away 2 to 3 bank failures away from complete system-wide failure. And I'm doing this based on the numbers because understand the government and Morgan had to take over First Republic because if First Republic failed, all that toxic paper was going to start hitting basically being worthless. Nobody was going to want to buy it. And it's just like, let's be real. You can't just continue covering this thing up and everything is fine. Somebody wrote earlier, wasn't it I'll put it like this for you too. Melania's husband that took away the stress test for the mid-sized banks, and yeah, he did. But he took it away because during his tenure, the economy was strong, the interest rates were low, and he wanted to keep them low. So this way the economy can continue to grow. So the bonds weren't in trouble because once the interest rates started to go up, the bonds were going to collapse and that was going to take down the banks. So he understood that. He understood that like any money person understood that. High interest rate starts to kill the economy. You kill the economy, you ain't going to have much growth. What's happening now? That's what's going on. So the reason why he took off that stress test because there was no need for it. You understand? Because the economy was doing good and it was structured in a proper way. We ain't doing good anymore. See, that's the thing about it. See, this is not the end. Our economy is tanking on a daily basis. Most people don't even know what's going on in the fucking world. I see stuff like this later, I start thinking, I'm like, all right, so I'll share it with you, you nice people. You got the United States moving into a new land strategic base in the Philippines, getting ready to engage in war with China. Like, people don't get it. Like, no, China will never go to war with us because they're with the dollar. I'm like, no, that's not the case. When people tell me all the time that China will never fight us because they rely on the dollar and we're their largest client, yeah, but we're collapsing. Think about it. What are we going to offer them? The dollar holdings they have is going to be worthless. War with them now is inevitable. This is beyond the Great Depression. During the Great Depression, we had a strong dollar, we had a strong economy, we had a manufacturing base. We didn't outsource anything. Things like this, as far as like these banks failing, all I can tell you is to prepare, just because at the end of the day, you're never, as a nation, we can't survive this. We're within 3 bank failures away from having a systematic. See, we can't do what we did in 2008. Put out like 21 trillion something dollars, and even that failed. We can't do that anymore. So they're doing it on the 1Z, 2Z, but until when? It's not possible. Even 2008, once they did the bailouts, come 2012, they had to do QE. And then from 2012 to 2019, they had to do Q1, QE2, QE3, QE Unlimited, QE Go Fuck Your Mother. It was just an ongoing thing. And then now we have this. Something massive is coming. I don't know if it's going to be war. I don't know what it's going to be, but there is going to be an event that is coming, and I am calling it here. There's an event that's coming that's going to change all of our lives because there is no stopgap to this. We had Silvergate, SVB, Signature Bank, now First Republic. That's four bank failures. Four bank failures like within the last recent weeks. And one of the articles it says here, the Govs, declares that the system is safe and sound. Safe and sound for who?